Good afternoon. I'm telling everybody to talk to the microphone, and I'm not doing it. Good afternoon, everyone. It is approximately 3:02, and the special city council meeting is now in session. Would everyone please stand while we have a moment of silence prayer? Amen. Councilman Brittingham, will you lead us in the flag salute? To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Would our clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Brittingham?
Here.
Councilmember Miller is absent. Councilmember Morris?
Here.
Councilmember Scher?
Here.
Chairman Gruby?
Here. Our first order of business under administration, number 1A, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the University Boulevard construction project.
Is Attorney Markham going to zoom in with us?
Tom's actually in court unexpectedly, so he did send a summary for us.
Yeah, I read that.
Okay.
Okay, do we need to discuss what our options are? Obviously, this is not a council decision. This is an administrative decision. All we can do is say, I guess, give a report and then the different options and allow the administration to decide what they want to do. Would y'all like to tell them what our options are, or would that, Steve, would you like to?
Yeah, I'll let you.
I don't have, okay, I'm sorry, Lisa.
So our city attorney sent us a notification that we can contact the surety bond holder, and we have 5 options here. Tom said, upon the city's compliance with notice provisions in the bond, the surety has the following options. The surety can arrange for existing contractor to finish the job with the city's consent, only with our consent. The surety can opt to finish the project using its own agents and contractors. The surety can obtain bids or negotiate proposals from contractors acceptable to the city, require performance bonds from those contractors, and pay the city for any damages incurred above the remaining balance of the existing contract. Additional design costs incurred, increases in contractor fees, liquidated damages, etc. The 4th option, the surety could determine what it may owe the city under the unfinished contract and make a payment to the city in that amount. The surety may determine it is not liable to the city at all. So those are the 5 options they will have.
Would anybody like to ask any questions, any of the council members?
I have a question. On the liability, if we were sued by a business owner on that strip and for lost income or something like that, would the surety cover that, or are we on the hook if we received a unfavorable verdict?
I would have to defer that question to our city attorney. I mean, we would have to have his legal opinion on that.
So I guess I really didn't understand. So we are on the hook for the difference between the original contract and what we've already paid, correct? Anything over that, the surety company has to pay.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
And the recommendation from the city attorney is to work through the surety to resolve this issue.
Can we insist the existing contractor be out of the picture?
I believe so. If option 1 said the surety can arrange for existing contractor to finish the job with the city's consent.
I would hope that would not be assumed. and that with a negative consent, you know, obviously I want the contractor to be gone personally, but that's just me. I don't think they will satisfactorily finish the job in any agreeable time frame. I just don't think they're capable of that or willing.
I don't disagree.
The way I read this, it states that the surety, the only way that the existing contractor can continue the job is with the city's consent only. So,
The reason I'm still asking, contractor had a couple of young men out there Monday and Tuesday, and I don't know if they're still out there, and if they are, I would like, you know, some way to remove them legally.
Danny, did you have a question? I know you had.
No.
Okay. And Mike, like I said, we can't make the decision. All we can do is make a motion to authorize the staff to proceed with notice or whatever on the performance to the bonding company, ensure whatever they want to do. In other words, that's the
Right.
staff decision, not our decision. We-
I would like to see, for the benefit of our attendees and the viewers and the public in general, the decision made public, both verbally in this meeting and some sort of press release for everybody else to look at. So I think it's very important we reveal the results of this meeting as best we can to the public.
And our PIO is working on that now.
She did give the 5, and I guess y'all heard the 5 options that we do have, and I think we're all in agreement, number 1's out. We don't want the people here anymore. But, like I said, that would not be a council decision. So, any other questions? Basically, what we're making a motion for is for the staff to proceed with notice to the performance of to the bonding company and to whatever they decide. That's what we're going to make a motion on today. Are we ready for that motion?
I'll make a motion, Madam Mayor, that we follow the city attorney's recommendation and authorize staff to proceed with the notice to the performance bonding company, ensuring the performance of Shirelli Construction Corporation for the University Boulevard project.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Councilmember Brittingham,
Aye.
Councilmember Curtis Morris,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Scher,
Aye.
Chairman Groby,
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Okay, number B, Miss Becca.
Do you want to read the?
I'll go ahead and read it. I was going to let you do it, but
I'll be happy to. I will do it.
Go ahead if you want.
Okay, all right. So this is for discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve purchase of an ADA accessible shuttle bus from the Creative Bus Sales in Irving, Texas through the Oklahoma State Contract Number SW0797C in the amount of $106,883 to serve senior citizens and will be funded by the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, ODOC, Community Development Block Grant, Coronavirus Response 18114, CDBG CR20, which City Contract C 2019-GC, contingent upon ODOC, Department of Commerce approval for pending release of funds process and a budget change. So I'll proceed. I'd like to bring everybody up to speed. Through a scope change for an existing grant that we had a balance for COVID-related projects, we were approved to purchase an ADA shuttle bus to serve the senior citizen facility. And so it's been quite a challenge to locate one that's available due to the supply chain crisis. And yesterday, David Anderson, our city mechanic, and I went to Irving, Texas, to look at the only one that they have that was actually already sold to a city, but they have one just like it in their facility in Indiana. And it is on our Oklahoma State contract, the vendor and the bus, the specs. David had to go out of town, but he did assure me that mechanically and it does meet everything that it should. And in your packet, I gave you a picture of the van, and that looks exactly like the one that we looked at. It is a 14-passenger van plus the driver. If we were to pick up residents that required wheelchairs, then the back seats fold up, and you can place 2 wheelchairs in there through the lift, and then there would be 12 seats for that. And this is specifically to serve the senior citizens that need rides to come to the nutrition site for their daily meals. And the logistics of that we still have to work through, but Lisa and I have talked several times on that. So, yes, sir.
Go ahead.
No,
I'll ask questions later.
Okay, all right. So originally in our scope change budget, I kind of moved some money around with the existing funds that we had of $633,000, and we gave estimates of what we had. At that time, the state contract price for this van was $101,648. And due to, let me go back. For this van, there's either a Chevy or a Ford chassis. The Ford chassis is not available. So the Chevy is an increased price of $2,865 more than the Ford. So with this, you have the Oklahoma State contract in there. So you'll see that the price originally was the $101,000, and now it's at $106,882. So that includes that increased price for the chassis, as well as David thought it was very important because it's not a school bus where when you stop, you have the stop sign that flips out. So he asked for them to install, or would install, some very bright LED lights on the back of the vehicle that with a toggle switch, they would come on at the stop. So this dealer has done that before. They've added that to vans. So in the pricing, that $106, that includes the additional cost for that toggle switch. And so that's the reason for that. I've already contacted Commerce and asked that we can move some money around and cover that increased cost. And because we are utilizing some other city COVID funds that we had on another project, we're using that for an item within this change scope that gives us $7,500 of leadway, so we can apply those funds to the increased cost of the van. You have a question, Councilman Scher?
So this is a new program. Do we have someone on the payroll to drive this?
No, sir.
So what's the cost going to be to the city to
Well, we
operate
don't
this?
know. Lisa's had some conversation with the aging department director at SODA, and if you want to answer anything.
That's a great question, because that was my question when I found out about the bus, because we do not have drivers for a lot of our we have vacancies for other drivers.
We're struggling right now.
Correct.
take
So
care of
I've had a conversation with the director over the area agent group, and we're trying to talk to them about maybe we provide the bus and they provide the drivers. So we're still negotiating through that process. But you're
So
correct.
we're going to be on the hook for maintaining, paying the insurance, and
If we
replacing
don't work something out, yes, sir. That was my concern as well.
And we did commit At the council meeting in June, when this change of scope was approved, it was agreed upon the city would cover the maintenance and insurance costs for this vehicle.
What does this look like from a liability standpoint from a outside agency operating a city vehicle?
That's why we've not made any, we're still talking through how all of that would work. So, but we're having trouble finding CDL drivers in general.
It
and to
doesn't-
find other I understand.
Okay.
To find other drivers that might drive this.
Does a bus like that require a CDL driver?
It does not require a CDL, but
I like the idea of having $100,000 asset laying around. I suppose it will be ours to do what we want with, right?
well, we have obligations. I mean, we.
Well, it was approved by council and through our change of scope process that it would be a dedicated vehicle for senior citizen nutrition. Not that if there were an instance where, for instance, a few years ago on a Saturday, council members and some staff did a tour of the city. I mean, that could be used for something like that. It, you know, outside of specific city needs, you wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't be used for anything else. But it is a logistic issue. You know, it'd probably be a while before we could actually implement it into service for several reasons. So I don't know at this
was this under consent when we approved this?
no, sir.
No.
No, I did a public hearing, and there were items
Okay.
approved. There was a budget.
Okay.
You blinked.
So, but this, okay, so this is not just for senior citizens center then, is what you're saying? This is not just for the senior citizen center?
No, it is.
This will be a city van that we can use to transport groups for other reasons?
It is designed or specified to be of service to the senior citizen nutrition site. But it's not, it's not, because you only have those certain hours in that day, doesn't mean that for city staffing a need, that you couldn't utilize that. Such as I was mentioned, you know, on that Saturday, when we took the tour of the city, city staff and council, you know, that might be a need for something like that. I think that it would be a policy that would be written before it's implemented on how it would be used.
And Becca, this isn't going to cost us anything.
It's 100%
Right.
grant, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, to get it here, but it's gonna cost us to have it here. And is there a need at the Senior Citizen Center? Have there been requests for us to provide transportation to and from?
Not to me personally, but this was requested by former city management, and so I did my due diligence to get us to this point. You know, I'm not a decision maker, or it was, you know, it was presented and approved as written, and this was the budget that was given to council.
We did vote on it at the last meeting. We did approve it.
Well,
Not the last.
not the
one,
last meeting,
June.
but the change of scope meeting, which was June, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, on my date on this budget is June 8th. So I believe that
Seems just
meeting
like
was,
yesterday.
pardon, I know it
It seems
does,
just like
yes.
yesterday.
I've had free horses before.
Well, I tell you, our $1 million fire truck we got for almost nothing cost us a lot of money, but I'm really glad we got it. That's my feeling.
And I will say that the mayor had asked if there was a contract to be approved today, and no, there's not. What I would like to recommend in your motion, if you approve to go forward, is that you give her, approve the authority for her to sign that once we have the contract. We're just trying to jump through some hoops now because we're on such a time constraint. And, you know, this is all contingent upon Department of Commerce approving some things that they have to do before we can actually even procure. And then, so then, once we have the contract, I mean, it is on the state It is approved on the state contract, but we don't have the actual van contract per se.
Any other discussion?
So there's not a state contract number for this?
Yes, there is, and I read it off. Yes, and it's actually in your packet, Councilman Brittingham. It looks like this.
It's on the first page, the very first paragraph.
And that's supposed to go in this blank spot on the agenda item? my
Yes, and I did prepare a copy that's in your packet as well with the new verbiage that
Yeah.
includes that.
Okay,
I'm looking right
are we
at it.
ready?
Thank you.
Pardon?
I'm looking right at it. Thank you.
You are. Are we
I know
ready?
it was a lot of information.
Are
I
we ready to
apologize.
call for a motion?
Care. I make a motion to approve the purchase of an ADA accessible shuttle bus from Creative Bus Sales in Irving, Texas through the Oklahoma State contract number SW0797C in the amount of $106,883 to serve the senior citizens and funded through the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, and also authorize the mayor to sign the contract when it's provided. Or is that the city manager?
Which I don't think it would ever is necessary from the city side. And would you please add the phrase, the contingent part?
Contingent upon ODOC approval for pending release of funds process and a budget change.
Yes, thank you.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Brittingham.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Scheer.
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Becca. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Would the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Brittingham.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Scheer.
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. We're now adjourned out of the city council, and it is now 3:25, and we will convene. The Durant City Utilities Authority is now in session. Pardon? Oh, y'all need a second? I'm faster than they are. Sorry, guys. I do that every time. Ready? Okay. Okay, the Durant City Utility Authority is now in session. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Trustee Brittingham.
Here.
Trustee Morris.
Here.
Vice Chairman Scheer.
Here.
Chairman Groby.
Here. Under Administration Item 1A, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the brush chipper equipment purchase from Vermeer Great Plains in the amount of $69,824.18 plus a 3-year extended warranty for a total project cost of $78,881.18. C-2022-55 chipper with $25,000 funded through the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ, Solid Waste Reimbursement Contract 103898, C-2022-55 GC to purchase brush chipper equipment. Ms. Becker again.
Hi, thank you so much. This was presented to the council on Tuesday night and it was approved, and I failed to put it on the DCUA agenda. So, and because it does involve funding, Ann Chin is aware, she's going to transfer the DCUA money to cover the rest of the balance of the project beyond the $25,000.
Is there any discussion? Anybody have any questions? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the brush chipper equipment purchase from Vermeer Great Plains in the amount of $69,824.18, plus a 3-year extended warranty for a total project cost of $78,881.18 for C 2022-55 chipper.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Would the secretary please record the vote?
Trustee Brittingham,
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Scheer,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Becca. Call for motion for adjournment.
Make the motion, we adjourn.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Trustee Brittingham.
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Scheer,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. We are now adjourned. Thank you all for attending this real long meeting.